So, like, I mean, with where some of my viewers are from, I will mention that the Steamboat Arabia, they said it was built in Brownsville, Pennsylvania. So, crazy to have that connection. But anyway, so this was a boat that was featured on the History Channel show, Life After People, as a what would happen to boats when people disappear, as in they could find environments where they would be preserved. So we're going to look at some of these artifacts, and really all that had to happen with them is that they had to be cleaned off. So I'm going to show some of this off. Like, look at this, it's all perfectly preserved artifacts. I know they have a video where those are featured. Right here, that doll there, it's called a Charlotte doll. If you've seen National Treasure, you might know of there being a ship called the Charlotte. So I suspect the Charlotte, the ship, might be named after the doll from the Arabia. And like, I mean, I tried to go to the excavation site for this and for the Arabia, and when, like, I mean, I just noticed the Arabia was in Kansas City on Google Maps. And I remembered it being featured on Life After People in the episode Bound and Buried. Got some syrup jugs there. We always love our Mapler representation. But look at all these. So I will say that I spoke with the guy, with one of the guys here, and he mentioned that the boat did not sink violently, so it's not like plates got thrown around and they were stored in an environment where oxygen was not present. It was barely above freezing, so it all got perfectly preserved. So I'm just showing off some of these artifacts here. And again, all that had to happen with these is that they had to clean off from sitting in the dirt. It's possible. Certainly possible, seeing the comments. But you've got all these tools here. And here's something that's really cool about the Arabia. You've got food that's perfectly preserved. Imagine having food that's over 135 years old. Those look like pumpkin seeds, for example. Got pie fillings that you can clearly recognize what they are. You've got pickles. Can clearly see. I mean, I can see why Life After People would have featured this place as an example for what would happen, for what will happen when humans are gone, for what will nature preserve and what will nature destroy. So like, this is a what will nature preserve sort of place. With no oxygen present, all of the stuff was just preserved. Which is awesome. We've got more food here. Medicines. We've got artifacts from all over the world in here. Got a cast iron stove base. Anything that is cracked, like you see this glass here that is cracked, it was likely cracked on the wagon on the way to the Arabia rather than being cracked in the sinking of the Arabia. Oh, look at all these clothes. No flash photography. So like if you come here, be sure to make sure the flash is off. All of this leather just preserved. I know some of my viewers will appreciate this, and since that's Pittsburgh with an H, that is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for Pittsburgh Novelty Works that you see here for this boot jack. Got more boots. Anaerobic is the scientific term. To describe the environment with no oxygen. This is absolutely awesome. Those keys would definitely still work. I mean, if there's no oxygen and there's nothing to eat away at, the artifacts, then there isn't a reason that they wouldn't be preserved like this. This is super cool. You can see the preservation work being done. So stuff today does require restoration because since the anaerobic environment has been opened up, there's that. Here's some stuff waiting to be got some rolling pins here. There's an example of a crack that happened after they excavated. We've got another wagon wheel here. So we've got a recreation of the Arabia here. This one was likely smashed in the sinking, it says. But over here, this one's actually in all right condition. So here's a small scale of what the boat would have looked like. And the log that sank the boat, that would have been the fuel, still exists. Got more artifacts here. I think it's cool that I'm at another one of the places that was as a hypothesis of you've even got preserved paper. Look at this. Imagine if those prices were still the same today. Even from The last piece of wood that was in the boiler. Certainly an ugly part of the history that there were so many pro-slave symbols on board the ship. But, like, I mean, it has to be acknowledged. Here you've got the original engine from the boiler. This was an excavation attempt that was different from the one that was successful. So the wood here that's holding up the drive, this is all original. The paddle wheel is a replica of the paddle wheel that would have been on the Arabia. But all of this stuff is original and obviously still in working order with just a little lubricating. And then when it gets down, you see the machinery here pushes that up. And then once it gets to the top, of the paddle wheel, it just lets gravity do the work. It's pretty impressive. But yeah, like, I mean, being at here's the look through the barrels of the steam engines. And yeah, that's probably going to do it for my live stream here at the Arabia Museum. An awesome collection of preserved artifacts that show what can be preserved in an anaerobic environment.